Okay, guys, to put it simply, size inclusivity matters. Despite the fact that 68% of American women wear a size 14 and above, plus size clothing makes up for less than 3% of all the selection at major retailers. And the offering of so-called specialty sizes like tall, petite have notably been sparse in the mainstream retailers for years. And let's not even go into maternity sizes, Sarah. Tonight, I'm joined by 4 leading voices in body neutrality space to dive into the topic of size inclusivity, why it matters, and what the future holds for the fashion industry. From opening up about their self-love journeys to cultivating communities that rally around their rejection of conventional beauty standards, these women are shaping the future of fashion for the better. Before we get into the conversation, I'd love for each of our panelists to give us their 30-second pitch. Tell us your name, your title, and what you do. Now, let's get straight into it. Nicolette.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicolette Mason. I am, in fact, wearing pants today. And I have had a 15-year career in the fashion industry, working predominantly in inclusivity, body positive advocacy, body neutrality more so now, and really trying to champion visibility for all and making sure that fashion in our media is reflective of the world around us. And for me, that has looked like being a consultant. I work with brands ranging from Target to Dove to Barbie to Nordstrom on really amazing size inclusivity initiatives. I was an editor and contributing writer for Marie Claire for 5 years. I've also contributed to Glamour and Vogue Italia. And I've also had my own clothing line, which was a plus size brand called Prem that I launched with Gabby Gregg, who is one of my peers and best friends in this space. And we focused on sizes 12 to 30, making really unapologetic fashion. And unfortunately, we had to close the line, but I continue to fight the good fight on making inclusivity part of fashion that is just standard and normal, and that we are not giving it headlines anymore because it just becomes the bare minimum that brands in the fashion industry work towards.
Fantastic. Alicia.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited to be here with these amazing women today and with all of you. My name is Alicia J, and I'm the founder of Tall Swag. I actually do a lot of things. We could be here forever if we just, recount everything that all of us do in a day.
Right.
But
we'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. But I'm the founder of Tall Swag. I am 6'6", so I have extraordinary height, which I absolutely love now. But at one point, I was severely bullied for my height and my race. For a number of years, I was very depressed about it, and I did not like who I was, and I did not like this gift of height that I had. And as I built my confidence, I realized that all of it is a gift. Everything that I have is a gift. And I decided to build a community that I needed when I was growing up, that I needed when I was completely depressed and not loving who I was. And so I built Tall Swag, which is a place to stand tall every day in every way. And I just really embody the thing that I needed growing up and hope that I inspire people along the way. And it's been a blessing. It's been a journey for sure. And one that I'm just so happy to be a part of. It's definitely my purpose. And when we're talking about size inclusivity, I definitely can speak all day about it and have been a champion for that as well, for tall and all. So I look forward to this conversation today.
Well, you're beautiful. And again, it's Alicia, but I say Alicia because I'm Spanish, but I know it's Alicia.
Yes, it is Alicia.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Sarah, tell us a little bit about you.
So I am a 12-year blogger. I am a mom of 3, and I have my 4th on the way. I started kind of like anybody else, just really craving human connection through social media, through writing. And at one point with social media and the growth of kind of what we showed of ourselves, I was really driven to lose weight. And I became kind of Insta famous for losing 100 pounds while being a stay-at-home mom. Big part of my story is that I did do that, but it didn't make me happier in my body, and it actually made me more anxious than ever. It was a health journey that was actually an eating disorder in disguise, and with a lot of sadness going on behind it. So after a very humbling experience through divorce, moving in with my parents and being open and honest about what was really going on, I started to change who I was on social media and start showing up really differently. However, I also remember what it was like to be plus size. And so in the last year, I've really been called in more and more to kind of remember those days and what it was like to shop in different stores and different sections and to not be included. It really woke me up to the fact that a big reason I felt like I had to lose all that weight in the first place wasn't because I needed to be healthier per se. It was because I wanted to be included with the masses and in society. So while I've worked to break the mold around stretch marks and our bodies and have landed myself on 3 magazine covers, I now want to just continue the fight for all and continue to kind of hold that door open for those who are not quite in the rooms yet. And it's just such a journey, and I'm not perfect, but I love conversations like these that kind of teach us all on how we can kind of shed that shame and just step into how we can be better supports for each other. So that's what I do.
Wow, I'm like honestly impressed by all these stories. They really touch me, and good for you. And now, Chelsea, let's hear your story.
Hey y'all, Chelsea Olivia here. I am just so overwhelmed by everybody's stories. I'm 4'11". I actually secretly started blogging in 2011, but I was like, had so much shame around it because I got bullied for wanting to share like my life on the internet. I started on Tumblr, and people used to just make fun of me. They're like, you're too short, you're not a model. And I'm like, I can do this. I may not be, runway height, but I mean, there's a space for me too. So for me, I'm just super excited to be here. I'm from Philly. I live in Alabama. So when I really started blogging, I was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So I talk about everything I'm passionate about. That's my faith, fashion, football, family, friends, and I mean, other things as well that kind of come into play.
That's amazing. Well, it's great meeting all of you. Let's get this started because there's a lot of questions, and we already have the chat going a little crazy with all of you. A lot of your fans are watching. So let's start with Nicolette. I have a question for you. One thing we've always admired about you is your realness. You've never shied away from tough conversations, especially when it comes to size discrimination in the fashion industry. Can you tell us how you feel about the term plus size, what you recommend instead, and how your experience eventually led to your own brand?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. And I think, the issue of plus size has come up so many times over the years, and I really don't have a problem with it. But I think what I would like to see is for the fashion industry to get to a place where inclusivity is the standard and not an exception. But the reality is right now that that's not the way the fashion industry looks. It's not reflective of everyone. We don't have plus sizes included in most stores. Tall sizes aren't included in most places. Petites aren't included in most places. And so the reality is that we do need some differentiators in order to identify our own bodies and to identify our needs and have our needs met. And I think that 3% statistic that you threw out in the introduction is such a key one. And another one that I have always been really drawn to is that yes, 68% of women in America wear plus sizes, but only 17% of fashion spend accounts for plus size women's apparel. So
Wow.
It's just so disproportionate that the market does not reflect the population that it's serving. And until we can get to a place where it is reflecting that ratio more accurately, I think we need terminology. And I'm not so caught up in what the semantics are around that. I don't have a problem with plus size. I refer to myself as fat all the time. I think the bigger issue is kind of ridding any of the shame that people have associated and projected onto those
That's it, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being plus size. There's nothing wrong with being petite or tall or mid-size.
Amen,
And
sister.
Come on.
It's all about just
Yes.
making it all normal. Because it is, right?
Normal
It
is such a
normal.
phrase. You know, as a designer myself, I went to QVC to be able to do the petite, the plus, because it's technical. It's not just going bigger. And I tell you, after using normal models for so many years, I find normal people to be models nowadays, and it's very common and very real. So amen to all of you. Alicia, I have to get my Latin part out. You've inspired so many people to embrace their height by owning yours. Even me, I'm so like enamored by it. But you took a while to accept that you are 6'6". What has embracing your height taught you about size inclusivity in the fashion industry, or lack thereof? And what changes would you like to see?
Wow. I could talk for the rest of the panel on the changes that I'd like to see. But I will say this, being 6'6" is a gift. Being anything, like having curly hair, your stature, whatever it may be, is a gift. We all have amazing gifts that are just for ourselves. Like, there is not another person in this world that is like you. That's beautiful.
Oh,
That
I
is
love
absolutely
that.
beautiful.
Yeah, come on.
And I wish that that would be reflected in the fashion industry. There's so many descriptors. There's so many boxes that are put around fashion. And it's like, we are all people.
Come on.
We're all unique. We all like to express ourselves in different ways. It's unique to all of us. So why do we even have all of these boxes and descriptors? That's the main thing that I would say, like, who made them up? Who said that that was the way that it should be? That's the one thing I would say. But also, I would say that there isn't really a tall style experience. Like, I cannot go to a mall and pick up a outfit from head to toe that fits me. I wear a 37-inch to a 40-inch inseam. I am not going to find those pants out there. Like, it is all an online experience. And we won't even talk about shoes. That's a whole nother thing.
Wait, what size shoe are you?
I'm a size 12, but I have friends that wear size 15s, 16s, and I have moms that hit me up all the time, like around prom, and say, hey, my daughter can't find a shoe to wear to prom. Can you help me?
Oh.
You know, we just have, our options are so incredibly low.
You're
and I know
freaking
that you guys,
special.
yeah, no, I mean, and the thing is what I want people to understand is, like, just because they don't include you does not mean that you are not included.
Come on.
Absolutely. Amen to that too.
Yeah.
It's going to be, it may be harder for you to find the way to express your style, but you do it. Do it in every
Just
way
be
that
you.
you can.
Yeah.
Be you. And
Be
that's
you.
the main thing that I would say.
You know, I'm looking at you guys and you're all so beautiful and your stories are so beautiful. Let me continue so everybody else can enjoy this. Sarah, you've built a huge platform around self-love journey after losing 100 pounds, but you've admitted to struggling with loving your body after losing weight. Why did you choose to share your story with virtual strangers? And how did you get to this place of self-love to inspire others to do the same? I'm fascinated.
Well, I think there's a couple pieces of it. First of all, I think when you're projecting a story online like I did with weight loss, I had somewhat of a responsibility to kind of show up and say, guess what, I was wrong. And I wasn't this before and after happy story that we see all over the place. I actually had more anxiety around my body, more hate around it. I just felt constantly like I was a target. I was targeting myself every time I looked in the mirror. This wasn't love. This wasn't healthy. This was not the journey that I thought I was signing up for and that I was projecting. So I love this saying that once you tell a secret, it loses its power. And I felt like,
so good.
Yeah. But with our bodies, you know, you grow up and you hold these secrets. I had, you know, stretch marks up to my rib cage with having 3 kids before 25. I didn't see people in their 20s with stretch marks up to their rib cages. I never saw women with normal cellulite, and I had very pronounced cellulite. So I didn't really know where that even existed. So it just felt like shame. It just felt like I was never going to get to this place of really feeling good about myself. So in sharing, kind of like slowly, it wasn't like this big burst through a door. It was kind of like this tiptoeing. And at one point I was asked to model at a shoot, and the photo that came out from it ended up going viral because it was of my stretch marks. And I remember feeling so much shame when it first came out because I'd never been in that vulnerable a position. let alone have it be out on the internet in a way that was not controlled by me. It was somebody else's photo. And it wasn't until I read the replies and I read how many women just over and over and over again saying, I've never seen a woman like me. I've never seen a stomach like me. I didn't know they existed. And as I'm reading these hundreds and hundreds of comments, I'm sitting there going, wait, what? There's other women like me? Like, this actually is a thing? But the best part of this whole story is that was 3 years ago. I open my social media now and I see cellulite and stretch marks. I see them on the beach now. I see us just showing up in our bodies. And
it's common now. Nobody's like, right? It's so common.
We've told the secret. It's lost its power. And so we're showing up.
We're the thong, baby.
Yeah, we're showing up in new ways. And you know what? Self-love, I thought, was all about finding ways to like look good and feel good in those ways. And I was chasing this feeling of love. I wanted to have butterflies in my stomach when I looked in the mirror. I wanted to feel so overwhelmed with emotion. But if you've ever been in love before with anybody else besides yourself, you know that's not really how love works. Love is intention. Love is a choice. Love is action more than it is feeling. And so I show up for myself in action every day instead of just waiting for a feeling all the time. And all it's meant for me is I think about my body less and I show up for my life more.
Come on.
I mean, is it just me or is this panel like amazing? I mean, bring it on, questions and answers.
Fire.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay. Fantastic, Sarah. Chelsea, you're a leading voice in the size inclusivity space and have garnered a huge following by sharing try-on hauls via Instagram and your blog. As a petite woman, what are some of the challenges you faced in finding clothing that fits properly, and how are you helping others avoid them by making your content shoppable?
So when I started, that's kind of why I grew, because I was shopping in the kids section. There weren't options for me in regular departments unless I was getting them hemmed and tailored. So I was like, back in the day, it was Lily Pulitzer, at the kids, it was J. Crew Kids, it was Abercrombie Kids, because there were no options.
They did have some good stuff.
I'm glad I had that, and my mom also walked through the same thing. My mom's 4'9", so we're not considered legal midgets because you have to be under 4'8", but still my inseams, just like Alicia was talking about, everything I buy has to be rolled or hemmed. Shirts, they don't hit right. They don't hit at my hips. But so anyway, so that's what happened. I didn't know there were other women my age who were my height, besides in the athletic world. So I grew up and I was an athlete. So you could find Adidas and Nike, because we're athletes, but clothes, I couldn't find it. So anyway, I started sharing that. And then that's where my community grew, and other women were asking, oh my word, I've never even thought to shop in the kids section. I didn't know if I got, a 14 or a 12 in kids, it could work on my figure as a woman. So that is pretty much what I did to start. And now so many brands have evolved and I don't have to do that anymore. I can buy petite and I can buy short. And unlike Alicia, I didn't even think about the tall options, not being able to find those options in the mall. I have there's small sections. It's not like the rest of the stores and the department stores, but there's a section, I can walk into stores and find petite. And so that's what I share. I share the petite options. And now a lot of those stores have tall options and extended sizes. So when I'm sharing my, 4'11" petite option, I make sure that it's size inclusive, and my girls of all shapes and sizes can shop it as well via Instagram. So it's so easy. Just
it's such a beautiful story. Every woman has a story, and this is like all shapes and sizes, all different challenges. But at the end, everybody has a challenge, right? So it's like, what's yours? And at the end, we are all one, and we're sharing kind of the same but different things, right?
Definitely.
So let's talk about inclusivity now. Nicolette, let's start with you. While there has been a lot of progress, so much has changed and so much change has been for the consumer facing. We need to see representation behind the scenes too. As a consultant, you're advocating for change. How can companies do better to ensure inclusivity is not only in their marketing strategies, but in their staffing plans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really become a big part of my work and my life and my advocacy as a whole, especially this year. I think that it's become kind of an imperative for brands to market inclusively. It's something that is called out really quickly, that is very visible online when brands are not inclusive in their marketing. And it's something that's very quick and easy to react to. And I think my idea of who was doing it well in the last 6 months has changed tremendously. And that's 100% to the credit of Black women and women of color who have really led conversations around Pull Up for Change and around the Amplify Melanated Voices movement. And speaking to, okay, these are brands that are talking the talk of inclusivity, but are they walking the walk behind closed doors? And so many are not. And I think that is the real change that we need to hold brands accountable to now. It's great that you are marketing inclusively and that you have women of all shapes and sizes and from all different ethnicities and different abilities, having people in campaigns who are wheelchair users, who are wearing hijabs. Like, all of that is beautiful and so important and so powerful. But how do we not get glossed over by this veneer of inclusivity and know that they're actually holding up to those values and those ethos in their company structure and acquiescing a little bit of the power to the people who they're marketing to. So it looks like looking at who is on the boards, who is making the decisions, what does their executive leadership look like? And there is so much work to do on that front. And really, I think the power to make that change is in the hands of consumers and choosing where are we going to vote with our dollars on creating that kind of change, because that's where we're going to have real, long-lasting, sustainable change, is by shifting power and shifting capital and making sure that the people who are included in these really beautiful marketing campaigns are making decisions as well.
That's a great answer, because I was going to ask you what work you've been doing with brands for that change. So you slid right into it and you answered our question. Thank you very much. Alicia, aren't you going to kill me for this? Are you going to kill me for this?
I won't kill you.
Alicia, you've cultivated genuine community that rallies around your rejection of conventional beauty standards. What are the keys to creating an inclusive community online, and what advice can you share for the people who want to build a space where they're reflected and represented?
100% be yourself. You cannot build a platform that is not authentic. You cannot build a platform that is you and true if you are not yourself. If you are posting things that feel forced, I mean, I've even done it myself, and I've taken them right down because I was like, Alicia, that wasn't even you, you know? Don't put anything on there that isn't 100% authentic, but also honest, because I think that a lot of times we hold back the real and only show the highlight reels. And we have to show the ups, the downs, like all of that. Because what we're seeing a lot of times is the fabricated life. And we're comparing ourselves to these pretty pictures and these pretty moments. And that's not even what's happening. So you're comparing yourself to something that is false. And number one, that's a waste of time, but it's also a detriment to who you are. So if you want to build something that is authentic, and don't worry about numbers either. Do not worry about the numbers, because the impact, I
agree with you.
Yeah, the impact is what is there. If I change one person's perspective, if I have one girl who comes to my Instagram page and is like, I've never seen someone that tall rock heels, and it makes me confident and know that I can.
Oh, come on.
That is what.
Hallelujah, Chelsea.
I'm like, we in church.
You know,
Chelsea's down there out of control.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Alicia. That's amazing. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
If you
try not to cry.
No, I mean, me too. Me too. Because
no, same.
I was that girl. You know, I was that girl, and I still have people at the age that I am come up to me and tell me that I shouldn't wear heels every day. And every time I wear them, I get at least one person, why are you wearing those? Because I like them and I want to rock them. Thank you very
Because
much.
I think I look hot in them, and I only have to love the way I look.
And
okay.
yeah.
Oh my God.
And so just be
Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. That was beautiful. Sarah, as a public figure, you've had to navigate being scrutinized by strangers on social media. And in a recent interview, you said that some of your best work in writing has actually come out of the response to negativity. So I'd love to know, how do you handle negativity in the comments? And what advice do you have for cultivating self-love in spite of the haters? No haters.
You know what? They exist when you go to family potlucks too. They're not just on social media. We run into, different types of forms of oppression all around us in our everyday lives and worlds. And so one thing that I've noticed is a lot of times we come on social media and we kind of experience this bubble experience. People have followed us because they've connected with our content that they somehow feel, related to, or they agree with. And you start to create this little bubble where everybody is kind of agreeable. But it doesn't really push you to learn. It doesn't really push you to have a different understanding. And sometimes people are really looking to build you up with new information. And other times people are really trying to tear you down. Now, when those things happen, and they have happened, especially from male commenters or people who just don't agree with even me existing in a medium-sized body, it is quite shocking, but also reminds us of what the battle is for, what is really going on in the world, what is happening outside of our bubble, and what conditionings are we still fighting against. And I also think that it's a huge responsibility of mine. I'm a white woman in a straight-sized body. I wear a medium and I can still go and exist in society and shop pretty much anywhere. I think it's important that I show up and I talk and lean into the facts that I'm being scrutinized for being slightly outside of the box. Look how many people are scrutinized and left out of society purely by just not having seats big enough for them to sit in, clothes that won't fit them, putting them into different even stores to shop in. We've excluded people from society and we've criticized them with our words and with our actions over and over and over again. So a lot of times when those haters come out, when those oppressive views come towards me and my body, it reminds me why we fight. It reminds me why we have these conversations and why we just keep showing up.
One.
Wow, that's beautiful. Woo! Amen to that too.
I mean, take to church.
Let's go, Chelsea.
Yeah.
You're on, baby.
That's me. I'm like, no.
Let's go. Let's go. Hold back those tears. As a content creator, you have an impressive reach, which has attracted the attention of major brands, but with great influence comes great responsibility. How do you choose which brands to partner with, and how have your collaborations helped these brands be more size inclusive? What makes a successful partnership in your eyes?
So for me, being a Black woman in America, it actually was very hard to see a woman that looked like me on these brands' platforms, whether that was on the runway, whether that was on their Instagram. Like, I had to fight for so long for partnerships, not even me just being petite, whether the clothes were going to really fit or not. It was just, I didn't see women that looked like me. I didn't see women that looked like me in our space. Like YouTube, all over the place, hair, all the things. But that was really important to me when I started working with brands. I was like, I need to see women that look like me. Not only women that look like me who may be, a 0 or a 24, but I want size inclusive women. I want Asian. I want all different women from all different walks of life. And so that was really important to me when I was looking at partnerships. And now with the movement that's currently going on, I mean, people's Instagrams are exploding with women that look like me, that women who wear extended sizes, all different types of women. And I just absolutely love it. It just makes my heart skip a beat. And so to close that out, what makes like a great partnership for me, it's just when my morals align with their mission and vision. That's another thing that I take into consideration before I work with a brand. I need to make sure we're on the same race here, and it's not they're just trying to check me off a box. Like, we need a little petite Black woman. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. Because that's happening right now too. It's a whole different experience now. They're like, oh, we're just going to throw it to all the pretty Black women. I'm like, no, that's not what we're going to do. That's not how this is going to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that, Chelsea.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
no,
go ahead, Nicolette.
I was just going to say it is really interesting, kind of pushing people beyond tokenizing people for their identities, for their ethnicity, their size, their ability, their gender identity, sexuality. Like,
Come on.
let's get beyond that. And
yeah. It's bigger than that. Like it's
bigger than that.
I mean,
Like,
honestly,
yeah,
I think that honestly, it's really, the last 2 years have been such a huge change. I think things are just, I think that, women are really, their power is just going to be amazing with the years to come, especially if we keep using our voices and experiences to inspire others. So now let's look at the future. Nicolette, as an advocate and activist, you're on the front line of the inclusivity movement. So I'd love to know, who do you think is doing a good job and which brands are setting the standard for the rest of the industry to follow? Who should we be supporting with our hard-earned dollars? Give us all the recs.
Ooh, that is a tough one. I mean, again, like, I think it's about not just looking at the glossy veneer of inclusive marketing, but really paying attention to brands who are walking the walk every day and showing up in their values and ethics and in integrity, who are approaching ethics and labor as well, and not just tokenizing people for the sake of tokenizing. So there's a really long list of criteria. And right now, I want to be very honest and say, I think given the 6 months of conversation, it's really hard for me to objectively say, like, who is doing the right job and doing the right thing. I think all brands have a lot of work to do across the board. Even some of the ones who previously I would have really lauded for their efforts in inclusivity and sustainability, brands like Reformation, for example, through the last few months of conversation and activism and people really speaking truth to power, we found out that it's not all as it appears. So I think that rather than allowing anyone to really rest on their laurels, let's all continue doing the work and pushing for improving upon whatever we did yesterday. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for progress. So that is the thing I want to focus on more than anything.
Thank you for your honesty. That was a very, very good answer. Very honest and transparent. Alicia, you've been very open and honest about your experience of being bullied while you were growing up, which goes to show how much representation matters. How would you like to see brands evolve into more size inclusive so that the next generation doesn't have to deal with being bullied for being perceived as different, which is a beautiful thing today, right? Today.
Absolutely. Well, as I said earlier, I think it just has to do with getting rid of these categories and getting rid of what they think that we all look like. Because that happens so much, but also looking within, like, for example, a lot of tall brands that are out there, they only go up to like 5'8", and that's great because I'm glad that 5'8" women have, a choice, right? But there's also a sect of tall like me that is 6'6". I have friends who are 6'11". There's so many different variations within their categories that they do too. So it's like, you're not really looking at it holistically. You're just looking at one end or throwing in like a couple pairs of pants that are longer just to say that you have a tall line. And instead you have to look at all shapes, sizes, and like beauty and heights. Like, there's so much variation. It's not just one way within those categories that you made. So literally, it's just looking at the beautiful makeup of everybody and creating for everyone. I know that sounds very simple, but apparently it's not for them because it hasn't been done yet. So I think that is the main thing that I would say is, like, there isn't one type of person, in any of these categories. And there isn't just categories. Like, you have to literally just create. And, as easy as that sounds, it's not. We just have to keep pushing until they realize it.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Sarah, you recently shared a powerful image on Instagram, and I saw it, of a mocked up magazine cover centered on self-love and body neutrality. And it's safe to say that's the kind of magazine cover up that we want to see. What impact has the self-love movement had on the fashion and beauty media? And what can we all do to continue pushing these outlets in the right direction?
Well, I think, it is an exciting time. It's an exciting time that we're starting to see, kind of like how Alicia said, there's just so many different types of bodies that are incredibly normal. And maybe right now it feels like, are we being oversaturated with like just so much body stuff, so much things? But honestly, I grew up my whole life only seeing one type of woman, only seeing.
Come on.
So this is not just one-time magazine covers, one kind of effort to kind of create this inclusivity. We need to show all facets at all times and keep pushing for that over and over again, so that and you know what, it's kind of one of those things, like when you remember your own childhood, you remember certain parts of it. And then at some point, I actually reference it back to like when I was a kid, Tic Tacs were orange. I don't know what they're like in the States. Apparently they're still orange in the States. In Canada, they're not orange anymore. They're white. And so I always like, I look at them, I'm always like, well, remember when Tic Tacs were orange? Every time I pick them up, that's what I say. Remember when Tic Tacs were orange? But my kids will grow up never knowing what an orange Tic Tac was like. They'll always just know them as the white Tic Tac in an orange box. And so I had to reference that in my head because I had to put it into something. And I think that one day what's going to happen is eventually we're going to saturate it enough. We're going to do enough of this work. And it's going to be maybe feeling like it's a lot. But one day, little girls and boys and all genders are going to grow up and they're going to feel represented and not feel like they have to push and push and push for it. The pendulum is swinging right now and it's going to settle, and we need it to settle, and we need it to be a constant thing. We need magazines to look different all the time, not just one run of them, not just 1 month. We need it to be a continuous thing. And I'm excited that we're in this like age of change, and it's amazing, and we're witnessing it. We're literally part of history right now. Mannequins in stores are beginning to change. Everything is changing, and even if it's slow steps, it is steps going forward. And I think that while it's amazing to kind of see some of these efforts and even these mock-up pretend magazine covers, to just dream of a world like that, to just understand that one day there are going to be generations that didn't know only one side, like only one mold of a woman was ever represented, because all of them will be.
Come on.
Well, what's great about that is I wish we were in the rapid fire now, because I really love to talk more about that, because, you guys, I would say we are part of the change, and what we are doing and what you're saying today and who you are and how different you all are is a huge part of the change that is, like you said, currently happening. And like I said before, even the way we look at Instagram pictures is so different than it was a year or 2 years ago, correct?
1000%.
Okay, Chelsea, I know you're dying to talk down there. In a blog post, you revealed that it took 6 years to start a fashion blog. You've secretly been a blogger via Instagram and Tumblr since 2011. What do you hope the next generation of petite fashion bloggers take away from what you've built? And what advice can you share for people who are afraid to take the leap like you were able to do?
First of all, for me, it was the shame and it was the fear. I was allowing others to speak over me, and I was just so worried about what everybody thought. Like when people found out that one of my photos went viral back in the day with the J. Crew bubble necklace, and I didn't have my face in it, but when they found out it was me, I was like so ashamed, because it was a secret life I was living. And I just want all girls, not just petite girls, any girls that look like me, girls that don't look like me, to run after the fear. Your greatness is on the other side of your fear. And I am kicking myself that I didn't listen and push into that. I mean, my family does not support me. One day, maybe that will change. I mean, some of my cousins do, but I currently do not have a relationship with my parents, because they wish I was still in corporate America, not doing this, because this is not a career to them. This is not, it has nothing to do with anything I studied in college. And I just want all women to know that we are all uniquely made ourselves. And if you have a dream, go after whatever that dream is, because it's there for a reason. We do need to show up for the little girls. Like Sarah said, girls did not look like me on Instagram back in the day. Everybody had the same look, the same hair.
Well, they were missing out, baby.
Almost the same eye color. Then I came out of nowhere, and then all these other, I was like, oh my God, there's other girls that look like me that do this. I don't need to be afraid. So run after that, whatever that fear is. Don't let that cloud, your judgment. So yeah, started in 2011 and didn't really openly become a blogger till like 2015 or like 2016. Cause that's when I made my website. Actually, I was just posting outfits on Instagram. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Amazing, amazing. You guys' energy is insane. Okay, everyone in the audience, get your questions ready and drop them into the Q&A box, because in just a few minutes, we're going to be answering some of your questions. But in the meantime, I'm going to have some rapid fire questions. Just answer them quickly. All of you in any order that you want. Speak above each other if you want. We do that. The 3 traits that got me where I am today are: Alicia.
Patience, going after purpose, and persistence.
Sarah.
Vulnerability, honesty, and laughing at yourself and being wrong.
Nicolette.
Stubbornness, for sure. I'm truly a Taurus. Sense of humor. And I'd also say vulnerability.
Okay, and Chelsea.
My drive, my personality, and my joy.
Oh, I love that. Love that. Be scared and do it anyway. Okay. Inclusivity means to you, Alicia.
Shedding stereotypes and seeing that everyone is beautiful.
Sarah.
Getting into rooms and holding the door open for everybody else.
Beautiful. Nicolette.
Not just centering ourselves and our own reflections, but making sure everyone is reflected.
Chelsea.
Just not judging, knowing that God doesn't make junk. We're all beautiful in our own
God
way.
doesn't make junk. Everyone is someone, and every woman has a story. Okay. Size is Alicia.
Beautiful in every way.
Sarah.
I'm going to refer this to clothing, and I'm just going to say that we are not meant to fit into a size. Sizes are meant to fit on us. Clothing is meant and designed to fit us.
Amazing. Nicolette.
Size is just a number. It's not a reflection of who you are.
And Chelsea.
Shouldn't even be up for discussion.
Okay, we have one more rapid fire question.
I want to clarify what I was saying about size, though. When I said it was beautiful in every way, it's like people want to quantify it, but we're just beautiful the way that we are, no matter what size that it is. I just had to I didn't want anyone coming for me in the chat. That's what I wanted to say.
Very good.
And for me too, just to add on to that, we just shouldn't have to talk about it in fashion. We shouldn't have to be plus size. I shouldn't have to be a petite blogger. It shouldn't, size does not matter. It's just the way something fits us. It does not show our inner or outer beauty just because of what size we are wearing.
Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, the last rapid fire question, unless I think of a new one, is the future of fashion is Alicia.
I hope, listen, I hope that it is inclusive. I pray that the future of fashion is all inclusive.
Sarah?
I mean, I think that is the hope, but I think it's also just, it's changing. It's full of accountability now, like Nicoletta said, and like, yeah, it's changing and we're a part of that. And I think it's all about us and not just us speaking. I mean, all of us, we all hold a responsibility, no matter where our privilege is, to start seeing where we can mold and shape and put more of our money behind.
Okay, and Nicolette?
Future of fashion is evolving. The whole system is broken, so let's rebuild it.
Yeah,
I'm old, baby.
Amen.
That's it.
And Chelsea?
I feel like the future of fashion is in our hands. It's in all the women who are watching's hands, in our mother's generation, in the generations to come. Just like Sarah said, it's changing. Just like Alicia and Nicolette, everybody said it. The future of fashion is us.
It's us, yeah, and it's all inclusive, and it's all about women supporting women and loving each other the way that we are, and not in a certain height, or in that when we lose those 5 pounds, or when we get this, or it's like I said in one of my talks today that I can already envision what I'm going to look like when I'm 90 if God gets me there, you know? And it's all about that wisdom and that inner strength and that inner beauty, right?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so let's see. Does anybody have any questions that we have a few minutes left that you'd like one of the beautiful girls to answer? Or anything you guys would like to say that you feel you left out? I mean, let's do it. We have a little bit of time left. Silence?
It looks like there's a bunch of questions in the Q&A.
Oh, here's one. Oh, wait, I found them. Sorry.
Yeah, there's
I was in chat, okay? Okay. How do you, let's see. Does anyone have a tall size plus size, just even some item? Hold on. Does anyone know of a tall and plus size brand or even just some items of excluded sizes? Let's see. Answer live. Let me see this one. Okay. What, if anything, is being done to establish more consistent sizing standards across brands? I wear a 2 and 3X in some brands and up to 5X in others. What can we do as consumers to make consistent sizing happen in the US?
I'll jump in there since I've worked on the production side as well. There is nothing being done to standardize sizes, and I can't promise that there will be a big push for that because a lot of brands really hold their vanity sizes as part of their selling strategy. And that makes it very, very, very difficult to create a standard size. The best thing I think that we can all do is not feel attached to a number on the tag, to know our measurements, to keep a tape measure handy, and to not be afraid to just try things on in the store, even if it's not the size that we think we identify with or that we think is going to fit our body best. And kind of shedding any of the attachments that we might have to a size number. But I feel you, it is so hard to shop from brand to brand. I am a 12 in some brands and a 20 in others, and I can't for the life of me figure out how that discrepancy happens, but it is a huge source of frustration and you're not alone.
Anybody else?
I would also add,
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay.
It's a huge reason why I think so many rely on fashion influencers. So they're like people that can be like, you start to trust and rely on them as sources to understand some of those sizing discrepancies, just to even be able to have the confidence to shop online.
Yes.
I would also just implore brands to put measurements in their descriptions. There's so many brands out there that don't, they just have the sizes alone. I know I run into that a lot with inseams. I personally am not going to purchase unless I know an inseam, because I already know that it's going to be like an ankle pant on me if it's not actually explicitly put there. I actually put up a video on YouTube today about just advice to tall brands, like what is going to help women feel like your tall brand is is relevant and that it's going to fit. And that was one of the biggest things for me. And I know that everybody can attest to that here too, is like putting actual measurements of clothing into your descriptions. Like, please do it.
Yeah, that's really important.
That would help immensely. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question here for Alicia and Chelsea. As a millennial Black woman, I live in all different intersections. Prince, David Bowie, RuPaul, Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton are just a smattering of my inspos. And I experienced a gamut of too black, not too black, etc., not enough. Well, I've had to find an anchoring, grounding place in my day-to-day life. But as I move forward to building my company and coming out in the influencing blog space, what advice do you have for maintaining an anchoring perspective when the feedback starts to happen?
For me, it's just just be yourself. Just truly, truly, truly be yourself. I've walked through the same things. I don't know if any of you have seen a little viral meme that went out last year of a bunch of bloggers in a pair of boots in the fall. Well, I'm the one in the middle. And so many people were saying how why are all bloggers white? I'm like, I'm very much Black. There's nothing that is white or Caucasian about me, but all my girlfriends in the photo had self-tanner on, you know? So I just had to step up and just be like, no, there is a little bit of diversity in this photo. I'm here and I'm just friends with who I'm friends with, and I just have to be myself. But I was always called the token Black girl. I was always called the white Black girl. I was always called the Oreo. I was always told I wasn't Black enough or I wasn't white enough, but I'm just myself, you know? I was raised this way. I speak this way, but I'm very much Black. I very much have walked through all the things most Black women in our country have walked through. So like I said in the beginning of my answer, just uniquely be yourself. We are all made perfectly in God's image, and we are all made to be our own. There's only one Chelsea Olivia. There's only one Alicia. There's only one Sarah. There's only one Nicoletta. There's only one of all of us, which is why there's space for all of us. So, I mean, I guess
There's space for all of us. Anyone else?
I would absolutely echo that. And also know that when you are authentically you, there are always going to be somebody that has something to say about you. There will. I'm telling you.
And that's okay. And that's okay. At least they're talking about you.
Well, that. And then also realize that those are just opinions. Those are not facts. Do not believe them. Do not believe the lies that those people are saying to you. You know who you are.
Absolutely.
Going to do you 100%. Like, just keep doing you. And that's all that matters. Just reject those lies that are coming at you.
Yeah.
So we're going to close with one last question, which I love because I say this all the time. How do you fake it till you make it with confidence? I find myself struggling with confidence these days. I am a true believer in fake it till you make it. We all have a dream. We're going on the path. We fall off. People don't have to see when we fall. We just keep going and fake it till you make it. So I'd like to hear how you guys fake it till you make it, because not every day is a great day, right? But it is a great day to be alive.
No.
Every day is a great day to be alive.
Yeah, I don't
Every
know
day
if
is a
I would
great day to be
necessarily.
alive.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would even say fake it. I wish that more people would say, man, today I'm having a bad day, because it was hard today. I think there isn't one person in this world that is perfect. And we all have our ups and downs. And I really strive to be as authentically like real as I can. And when I'm having a day of depression, I'm going to tell you I'm having a day of depression. So, you know,
That's
I would just
beautiful.
say be
That's
real.
really beautiful.
Yeah.
I love you for that. Like, you made me emotional. I'm not allowed to be. I'm kind of holding this thing together.
You can be emotional. Listen, I'm good
Trust
for
me.
tears.
Trust me, I am. Okay, girls. I'm going to close with thank you for tuning in to watch Size is Not a Trend. Next live session is Fit Class, how to find your perfect fit as told by the experts. Head over to the Zoom as it will start in 15 minutes. A shout out to QVC and HSN for putting this event and encouraging these conversations, and a shout out personally from me to QVC for all measurements given across all sizes every time. I can attest to that. On my website, I struggled with that. I saw how Alicia said how important it was. Sometimes it's a little difficult to do it, but they do it every time. It's become an amazing platform. Amazing brands have been coming. New brands are coming. I am so proud to be part of QVC HSN, and I am so proud to have gotten to know my 4 new friends today. I love you guys, and thank you for being so special today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, girls. I'll keep following you, okay? Keep showing me some great things. Keep teaching me every day.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Love you.
Guys.